And so we talked about just still just like planning. And so the feedback from that is just like when I watched your lesson with Mario, it actually looked really good. And really planned out. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were gonna teach him. Like you had a very specific goal in mind. You like worked on all of his goals, his all of his IEP goals, and you just like were very familiar with what you did. So today we'll continue to work on planning and also just like instruction also a little bit. And so I'm going to actually show you a video. Um, I'm actually going to show you a video and then a clip of a video of me working with, um, I found an actor. I've been finding actors for O3s. And so, like, to just give you some like preference, so like at the beginning of your lesson, you reviewed all of the strategies for sounding out words with Mario, and then he began to read a book. And so we're gonna go to the point in which like I just chose one strategy that like Mario wasn't like when you asked him what the strategy was, then you talked about it with him. And just so like I want you to look at just like the difference between like when I get to a strategy that this is Sean, also known as Gerald, doesn't know, and what I did, and then just like what you did when you got to the strategy that Mario didn't know.
Okay.
Okay, so today we're gonna practice doing flippy dolphin. So, do you know when I say flippy dolphin, do you know what that means? So when we say flippy dolphin, we're going to flip the vowel sound. So let me give you an example. If you sound that out and the vowel sound says a, that word is back, right? But that's not what that word is. That word is bake. Because we have a E at the end of our word, our vowel is going to say its name, okay? So now this word is bake. And in the word bake, what sound does A make? In the word bake, what sound does A make? A. Oh, A. So it says it's a name, okay? So when we say the vowel says it's a name, you're going to say the name of the letter. So I'll give you a different example. In the word, I know that the vowel sound I says it. So this word would be whip. But that's not what that word is because there's an E at the end of the word. The I is going to say its name. So what word letter is this? So it's going to say its name. So this word is going to be white. Correct? Okay. Your turn. We're going to do the word cube. I told you the word. Different word. Sorry. We're going to do the word. What vowel sound is this? And what sound does O make? Ah. But there is an E at the end of this word. So what sound is O going to make? So what word is this? Very good. And the last one you're going to do all by yourself.
Is that right?
No, that's Lorenzo. What word is this? A. What word? Tank. But you have an E at the end of the word, so this A is going to make what sound? A. So what word is this? Take. Very good. Take. Okay, so then there's one more video. What word is this? Think. Very good. Let's practice one more time before we move on. What word is this? Very good. Okay. And so, wait a minute, press pause for a second. Because that's where we want to go. I just need you to pause for 1 second. Okay.
So when you watch my video with Sean, when the scholar could not tell me that when the scholar could not tell me the skill, what did I do?
You told him to flip the valve sound?
Yes. And so, and while practicing, when I'm practicing a skill with him over and over again, like what was I looking for him to do?
To master it?
To master it. And so just like, what's the impact on a scholar if when he gets to something that he doesn't know before he reads, if we teach it to mastery?
Because when you're teaching it to mastery, you're doing the repetition, and that just kind of drills it in the scholar's head, and then hopefully they can do it on their own
Right.
when they're not reading with us.
So I'm going to show you 2 clips from Mario, which him and his sandwich, just let you know, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Just put the sandwich down, kid.
He has like the worst times to work with me because he works with me during lunch, which is we only do about I'm not gonna rush him through his eating,
Yeah.
and then he works with me at the last thing during the day. He's ready to go home at the end of the day.
Yeah. I am going to note that's not the video. We want to go to the first one first.
But he actually is pretty willing to work and eat.
I mean, he did a very good job. He was very focused, which I always
Yeah.
wondered about that with him. So I'm going to actually go to the part where you ask him.
Okay.
Please.
Can you remind me what eagle eye is?
I think I stumbled in my description of a flip or one of the strategies. I think it was Flippy Dolphin. I stumbled.
So this is when you're going over the strategy with him.
Have you learned about these with Ms. Robbins? Reading strategies?
I was there with you too.
So yeah, we talked about can you remind me what eagle eye is?
Eagle eye look at the picture.
Yeah. So yeah, eagle eye is when you look at the pictures, help you figure out the word. What is stretchy snake? Is when you stretch out the word. If you're having difficulties trying to figure out a word. So for example, Miles the Nile crocodile. If I was reading this and it was Miles the yeah, I'm not sure what that word is.
No.
I know. Yeah, hold on. I need your voice off. So if I'm reading this, Miles the crocodile. I don't know what that word is. So I can always use a stretchy snake and try to stretch out each sound to help me figure out the word. So the first is like I'm gonna do it again.
Oh, okay.
Here.
That was something.
Halftime.
Yeah, this is not the first. I've had technical difficulties.
Nile. So that's stretchy snake. What is chunky monkey?
Check the word.
Can you? How do you do chunky monkey with this word? I think we did this yesterday.
Wait.
Show me the chunk. You put a line in it. Put a line in between the 2 chunks with a pen.
Wait.
So the chunk would be like this. Wait. So that the chunky it makes 2 chunks. Wait. And then flippy dolphin. Flippy dolphin is when you flip the vowel sound. So you could often use it when the word has a silent E. So like for this one with Nile, if you said the word was nil, it's not nil, so you would do flippy dolphin. Flippy dolphin, you would flip the I to I. You would flip the I to I, and then that'd be Nile. Awesome.
So basically, I didn't have him master it.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and so just like, right. So that's what we did different. You did not work towards mastery of the skill with him.
Yeah.
And just like when you think we work towards mastery with the skills, how do you think that that would have impacted Mario when he was reading?
Well, he would be able to, like, if I just focus on one skill per session, he'd be able to use that skill probably on his own without me prompting him when he was reading. Or if I did have to prompt him, it wouldn't have to be a lot of prompts.
Very good. And so like that is actually your action step for next week. And so would be to just have Mario, when we're teaching him a new skill, to just make sure that the kids are mastering it.
Okay.
And so like with reading and them using like their skills for just like their phonics skills and sounding out words, like I kind of rotate them. So with the kids I do reading with, like I may start with chunking or eagle eye, and then we'll work on it until they master it, and then I'll go on, and then you can just kind of spiral, right? Like every week.
Okay.
And what I do particularly for me, just so I know what skill they're supposed to be doing with what word, I typically like will pre-read the book, and I might, if we're really working on chunking that week or flippy dolphin, I'll highlight the words in the book for me.
Yeah.
So it kind of cues me into like, this is where he'll really need to use the strategy. So it kind of gives me a cue.
Oh, no, I got you.
Right. So,
Yeah.
So.
And then sometimes, like when I was this wasn't for Mario, this was for like Regina, and when I had Elijah, Ricky, and Martin all in a group. But I would do I would do the line for Chunky Monkey, FD for Flippy Dolphin.
Yep, that works.
Yeah.
But and just do it, and I would just put it in the book that you're reading along.
yeah.
Like I always have 2 books. So
I usually just follow off their book.
Yeah, so like I
book.
usually have a book for myself where I have notes, because then it also like just helps me with data.
Okay.
It helps me with data and making sure that I know just like what they're doing and just like next steps.
Okay, cool.
So like whenever I plan, like I usually plan looking at their work from their sessions. Most of the time, like I really only take like really, really data, pay close attention to it and make notes and like record it on Thursdays, because that's when I require them to like, on Thursdays I say they know that that's their assessment day. So I'll just give him a book, and then I'll say read it, and I'll see if he can independently do it himself, and then take data on that. Do you see what I'm saying? So then I know if he can do it independently. And it's usually also a book that they haven't previously read. Because our kids are really, really good at, which actually blows my mind when I hear like their memory.
Yeah.
Is that they can memorize anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so typically like if I have like Breon or even like Brent, who's lower, like once I've had them read a book and I've helped them like through all the strategies of what they did, typically they can read it by themselves. Also, because when we do guided reading, they have to read their book more than once with me.
Yeah.
So I usually give them a new book and just make sure I know where they're supposed to be using the strategies, take some notes on that for them, because that's also a good time to count words for fluency too, to make sure they're on target. So I'm just like, read your book. And so then like I can take data on like what strategies they're using. I can take data on sight words, and I can take data on just like their fluency and their rate, without me necessarily having to do anything, because all you got to do is just like count the words, set a timer, and just have notes in the book.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do today to practice. We are going to practice your skill to mastery. So if you just want to think of like a few words that you can do, like I usually, like if I know that when I knew I was going to practice Flippy Dolphin, I usually have a list of words for me to pick from, because I normally don't know how long it's going to take for them to get the word. So I typically like have about 4 or 5. Sometimes like for Brent, I usually have like 50 words. Like I literally like Google words, because it takes him longer to catch on to a skill. Like with Breon, I might have like 5 to 10.
Okay.
Because he does it quicker. Like I see Mario as a kid that you would probably like 5 to 10. And
Yeah.
I'll be a 5 to 10 student. Don't worry.
Okay, cool.
Not 50 in 2 days.
That works.